So I just made the announcement that we're not doing grammar. And for those watching the recording, you missed all the dancing and the hoopla, but that's the news for the day is no grammar homework and no grammar in class. So with that, you're going to need your paragraph that you wrote about. Remember way back, feels like forever ago, the hooded pitahui, the bird that you wrote about. So you'll need to get that out. And you'll need to get the original story out. You're going to need kind of a lot of things. So I would just keep your binder open and near you with the things we're going to do next. But first, we're going to do, does anybody feel brave this morning that wants to read your paragraph if you have it done? If not, that's okay. Oh, good. Thank you, Bronx. All right. So you're, oh, wait, are you talking to me, Paisley, or somebody else?
I actually never did that because we were in Ohio and
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably didn't have time, but
Well,
you can still
video, and then we got home and I had Christmas and we had no time. You forgot. Yeah, and I forgot.
It's been busy. I'm sure it's been busy. And you visited your niece, is that right?
Yeah.
And how old is she now? She's like a month old or something?
She's like 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Aw, that's cool. So the homework was to rewrite. Remember, we're learning how to do academic reports now. So basically we looked at the original, which was probably 15-ish facts that we had to kind of funnel down into 7 facts and then rewrite that. And so Bronx, I saw your hand. So if you feel like reading what you wrote, that would be great. Go ahead and just read to us what you have.
Okay. The hooded pitahui, I think it's called that.
Pitahui. I know, it's weird. Pitahui is how you say it. Pitahui.
Okay, the hooded pitahui lives in the forest called New Guinea, where it is known as a rubbish bird. The intense hooded pitahui is a brightly colored bird. It is an orange or red belly. It is an orange or red belly and black hooded like head. Unfortunately, the medium-sized bird is typically 9 inches in length.
Good. Okay. Is that all you had for your paragraph?
Yes.
Okay. So good. I noticed you got your facts down there. Let me show you this. Good job, Bronx. I liked it. It was good. And I heard your ly adverbs in there and your who, which clauses. So you got those in there. So remember this story originally. This is the original. It has 3 paragraphs and it has a bunch of facts, right? So it sounds like you picked your facts really from the first paragraph. Is that where you got all your facts from? Your 7 facts? Okay, because you could use, and that's fine, but you can use the whole thing. So what we did was we took this 3-paragraph report or source, and then we changed it into a 1-paragraph report. So if you had 2 facts from here and 1 from here, and then you had 4 or 5 facts from here, that's okay. You want to use the whole report. That's okay that you just used just that top paragraph, but I just want to make sure you know that, because we're going to do that again with a different passage this time. And what you guys are learning how to do is write reports, basically. And you'll have more of those as you go through your school, and especially in high school. And are you guys 8th grade? I know Paisley, you're 8th grade. No, you're 9th grade, but are you 8th grade, Bronx? Yeah. So 8th grade, you guys typically study the Constitution, let's say.
I meant 7th.
7th grade. That's right. I should know that. I just off the top of my head, I was trying to remember. But once you get into 8th grade, you'll have you'll learn about the Constitution, and then you'll probably do a report about that. I remember teaching that class and having the students write a report about an amendment to the Constitution and how it was used in the Supreme Court and how the verdict came out and how the amendment helped and all that. So basically, this information is going to be good for you to use wherever you go after my class. So you're going to take information, condense it down, and rewrite it into your own words. So the next thing, let me check my notes here. I wanted to show you the checklist really quick. There's a couple of things I want to review with you about that. That is page, let's see if I can find it here. Hold on. Here it is. It's page 73 in your binder. All these things that we're taking out of your binder today after class need to go at the front of your binder because you'll be needing access to these things. But I wanted to point out a couple of things on the checklist. So, notice here that, remember when we talked about the topic and the clincher sentences, and we did that little thing like the topic sentence and the clincher sentence must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. Remember we talked about that? That seems like forever ago, but it was before Christmas. Notice on your checklist right here, it says highlight or bold. So if you're typing it, you can put those 2 or 3 keywords in your clincher, either bold or highlighted, and the same 2 or 3 keywords in your topic sentence. Okay, I wanted to make sure to point that out because that's new on your checklist. That way you're not underlining it, you're either highlighting it, and you can do that. If you're handwriting it, you can use a yellow highlighter or a pink highlighter, whatever color. But if you're typing it, you can change it to bold or highlighted on there. Because I want to see those 2 or 3 keywords. They have to either repeat or reflect. So remember, repeating obviously is the same word, but reflecting is a synonym. So something similar to the other word is good too. Okay, I wanted to show you that. I also wanted to show you these banned words here. We've got say, said, seesaw, think, thought, eat, ate. And so while we're talking about this, go ahead and get out that blue page of your banned words list. This is page 49. Mine's blank because I use my plastic on it so I can erase it. But Bronx, what do you have on yours so far at the top here on each of these columns? What do you have so far?
I don't have anything on it.
Oh, how about you, Paisley? Do you have anything on your blue page?
No, I'm trying to find my binder.
Oh, yeah, you definitely need that. You can go look for it if you need to. Real
Okay.
quick. So you don't have anything on this yet, Bronx? You should have some. Nothing. Okay. I wonder where it went because we worked on this. I know we did some of these things.
I know some of the words.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm just gonna show you and make sure, do you have this page right now, Bronx? Did you find it? Okay, so go ahead and write these down. Because you do need to have this. Makes me a little worried because I wonder if we didn't have time to do this yet, but. So go ahead in this first box, put say, said, and Paisley, if you don't have your binder, go ahead and just do this on a blank sheet of paper, okay? So at least you can have this list. And notice that in the top box, there's a line through it right here. That just means don't use these words anymore. So in your writing, you cannot use say or said anymore. So banned just means that it's illegal now. Okay, so you'll get points taken off of your homework if I see you using these words. So like for say, said, you can put something like yelled or proclaimed. Go ahead and write these down. or whispered. Okay, so it's really going to stretch your head a little bit here. You can't use say or said, which is what we typically want to use. You'll have to think of another way. These words are actually strong verbs. So when you use these words, it really brings your story alive. I know we're doing academic writing right now, but even then, you can use strong verbs. You probably won't have any conversational things in your academic writing, but another banned word for your list is seesaw. And these are more for story writing, but I still want to have you in. I'm leaving a bunch of space here, so as you think of things, you can add to your list. So rather than seesaw, you could say spied or spotted. Like in my other class, we're talking about a story about a raccoon and a possum. And so you could say the opossum spotted the raccoon in the tree or something like that. So when you use these words, it gives more description to your writing. I'm going to just do those two for now, but I'm sure you're already thinking of other words you could use instead of seesaw. So make sure you add to this list. Another one is think / thought. You could use pondered or wondered. So you see where I'm going with this. So these words now at the top, you cannot use anymore in your writing. And you'll have to come up with others. You can either look in a thesaurus if you have a book, or you can look online if your parents are okay with that. Or I like to use Siri even. I'll say, hey Siri, what's another word for think? And then she'll come up with a list of things. So you have to check with your parents on that one just to make sure they're okay with you surfing the internet for synonyms. That's a great way to do it though. The last one, and this one will apply to us for this story, is eat / ate. Eat, ate. Because remember we talked about the hooded pitahui and how it's poisonous, and it became poisonous because it ate that poisonous beetle. And when it ate that beetle, it then got in their system and now they're poisonous. So I'm going to have you guys help me with this list. What's another word you could use instead of eat or ate? Can you think of one?
Devoured.
Ooh, nice. Devoured. That's a good one. Devoured.
Ingested.
Ingested. Good. Consumed. Think of any others? Even words like gobbled, gobbled up. Or words like chewed, swallowed, scarfed, like if you scarf your meal, scarfed. Sometimes we say things like inhaled. Have you ever inhaled, like if you're so hungry and you go out to pizza with your family and they bring the pizza to the table as this giant pepperoni pizza and you're like, oh, and you just inhale it really fast, just eat it. Okay, so there's lots more and you guys might be thinking of more, but if not, you can always use, like I said, Google or Siri or a thesaurus if you have one at home. Looking up what else you could put instead of eat and ate. Okay, so that, like I said, will come into when you're working on the homework for this week, because the birds that we're learning about are dangerous birds, and they do talk about the kinds of things that they eat. So when you're rewriting your paragraph, make sure you watch for that. Don't use eat or ate. You're going to have to think of a better word, a more descriptive word. And these are considered strong verbs because they give you an image. Actually, I just thought of another one, nibbled. Because if I say nibbled, now you're thinking of little bites, right? But if I say gobbled, now you're thinking of like big bites and big mouthful of food. So see how it gives you an image in your head. That's what I'm looking for when you're writing. Okay, so that's it for now, but we're going to come back to this list again. So keep this handy at the front of your binder for now. And let's see, what do we got next here? Go back to your checklist. I got a couple more things to talk about there. Your checklist for dangerous birds. We already talked about the topic and clincher sentences. We already talked about, here's your list of banned words. By the way, when you're working on this homework, you got to have this list handy. You got to make sure you're checking everything before you turn it in. And here are those banned words. Notice here for your dress ups, we've been doing ly adverbs for a while. That one we know. Who, which clause, you've been doing that for a while. Strong verb, that's when you're using a verb that creates an image. We talked a little bit about that. And when you're using other words besides your banned words, those are going to be automatically strong verbs. So you're going to make sure to underline those. Okay. And then there's one more, the because clause. Now the because clause is pretty easy actually. Because basically you're telling why something is the way it is. Like think for a second about the hooded pitahui. You could say something like this. If you ask yourself, why is the hooded pitahui poisonous? What is one reason why they're poisonous? Do you remember back from the story? Try to think. I know it was a while ago when we read it, but do you remember why the hooded pitahui is poisonous?
I think it's because the bugs that they ate.
Good. Yeah, it was a bug or a beetle. Yeah, because there was a beetle that it ate that was poisonous. Yeah. So you could say that sentence, you could say the hooded pitahui is poisonous because it consumes what could you say, a toxic beetle. You don't want to use poisonous twice in the same sentence. So you could say a toxic beetle or a beetle that has toxic fluids in it or something like that. So that's an example of how you would use because. And now from now on, you're going to start adding this to your dress up words. I'm going to see, do you guys have this? I know it's been a while since we've looked at this one. It should be at the front of your binder. If not, it might be behind the stylistic techniques tab. It's page 21. It's from a while ago. So on this one, you should already have ly adverbs here. Who, which, you already have these. Strong verb. I don't know if you have that one yet, but you could write that one in. And then you're going to add over here because clause. Did you guys find that page? Okay, good. Was it at the front of your binder or was it behind the stylistic techniques tab?
It was at the front of my binder for mine.
Okay. Okay, cool. That's a good place to keep it. I like it handy like that. So we have 6 dress ups all together, but now we've done 4. That's pretty good. We're almost there to all of them. That because clause now is your new thing. So you're going to have to really, this builds, you know, so you're going to have to underline all of those things and watch for your banned words. Okay. Another example would be like, The local natives know not to hunt or eat the pitahui because it will cause harm to their bodies. That's another way you can use because. And remember, when you double space your writing, you're doing that so you can go back and add those things if you forget as you're writing it the first time through. When you go to your checklist and you make sure you have them and you go, I forgot because in this paragraph. So you would do a little caret symbol, like that little arrow shape, and then right above that in the line above so you can make sure it's there. Okay. Now we're moving on to the next dangerous bird because there's 3 articles is what we're calling them. This is academic writing, so this is different than story writing. The next one after hooded pitahui is the African ostrich. So that is on page 67. Go ahead and get that one out. We're going to be in your binder a lot today, so just keep it next to you there and you can keep it open. Okay. This is why we didn't have time for grammar today. I'm like, we got too much to talk about. So grammar can wait. All right. So now this is another article about a different bird. Remember, you have 3 articles altogether. We already did hooded pitahui. This is the African ostrich. And this one has about 20 facts in it. And you're going to funnel those facts. You're gonna pick only 7. Now, remember, like I said earlier, it could be any 7 in this whole thing. It doesn't have to be just in the top paragraph. It could be any 7. So what we're learning to do, because when you go to do a report, let's say on the Constitution, you're going to realize there's a lot of information about the Constitution. But if you narrow it down to just a few facts, maybe 10 facts or whatever, how many paragraphs you need, that's going to help you. It's not going to be so overwhelming trying to figure out, what do I write about? I don't really know. So taking an article like this and only picking 7 is a good skill to learn. Now, remember, you're picking what you think is important, what you think is relevant, and what you think is interesting about the article. So the 7 facts that Bronx picks is probably going to be different than the 7 facts that Paisley picks, okay? So there's going to be, you get to decide which ones you like out of this passage. So what I want you to do while I'm reading it is either put a little check mark in the margin with your pencil, or you can underline. If you hear something, you're like, wow, that's interesting, or that sounds important, or, just as we read it, you find the facts that you like in here and either put a check mark on the margin or underline the sentence or the fact. Now, sometimes some sentences have more than 1 fact. Some sentences have like 3 or 4 facts. So you can just pick the fact that you want, and it doesn't have to be the whole sentence. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. So looking for facts, information, and let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read this. Go ahead and it's called annotate, meaning you're going to underline or put checks as we go. So that's your little note for yourself. If you underline or put a check by more than 7, that's okay. And later you can narrow it down to 7 from the ones that you picked. All right, this is called the African ostrich. You focus on underlining or putting checks in the margin of information you want to add to your part of your report. The largest bird on Earth, the African ostrich, can grow to over 7 feet in height and weigh up to 300 pounds. That's bigger than most people, actually, so it's crazy to think about. When running, it spreads its small wings and can sustain speeds of up to 40 miles per hour. It has massive leg bones, and its 2-toed feet have hoof-like pointed nails several inches in length. Contrary to popular thought, an ostrich does not bury its head in the sand, but it will lie down with its head against the ground if nearby danger is perceived. When surprised or threatened, an ostrich can be deadly. It will charge and kick at an enemy. One solid kick can kill a lion or disembowel a dog. By the way, disembowel means to literally rip open and take out the bowels. Pretty nasty. So they're vicious, and they use their claws with their big sharp nails, I'm sure. And they have a sharp beak as well. You've probably seen pictures. A male ostrich is black and with white tipped wings. Wait, we didn't read that last sentence. Sorry, let me back up. There are many recorded incidents of humans being killed by ostriches. The male ostrich is black with white tipped wings and a white tail, while the female is a grayish brown color. Ostriches generally travel in small groups with one male, 3 or 4 females, and their young. Ostrich eggs weigh about 3 pounds. They are laid in a communal nest, which can hold up to 60 eggs at a time. The males sit on the eggs at night, and the females incubate them by day. Ostriches are also raised for commercial purposes. Ostrich hide is used in luxury leather products, and ostrich meat is considered lean and nutritious. Domesticated ostrich eggs are sold in many countries, and one egg is equivalent in volume to about 2 dozen chicken eggs. 2 dozen. So they're huge. And have either of you guys ever had ostrich eggs or ostrich meat before? No, me either. I haven't either. But I've seen pictures of those eggs, and they're just huge. So anyway, were you guys able to kind of pick and choose what facts that you liked from this passage and put either underline or put a check mark by it? Give me a thumbs up if you got that as we read that. Okay. Okay, good. All right. So now what we're going to do is condense those facts, and we're going to make another outline with that. That will help you get your thoughts together and be able to formulate sentences for that. So go ahead and get out a clean sheet of white lined paper. And go ahead and put your name at the upper left here with the date. Today is January 3rd, and the year is 2023. It's crazy. And then this one's called the African. We're going to go ahead and put the title of this one here, African ostrich. And we're just going to call it key word outline, because we are going to keep with our rule of picking 3 key words, but rather than every sentence picking those words, we're looking at facts. So when you look back at the facts that you've underlined or put a check by, you're going to really pull out those key words for each fact. So when we do this one, I'm going to have you skip a line and go ahead and put Roman numeral 2, because this is the second paragraph now that you're working on for those dangerous birds. So like I said, you're taking 3 full articles and you're condensing it down to 3 paragraphs. Okay, so this one now, I want you to go ahead and put topic sentence. And then you're going to draw a line. So for this topic sentence, you're going to use 3 words here, actually. So 1, 2, and it's okay to go past your margin on this. This is where you're going to talk about go ahead and write these words down, because you got to have these key words, African and ostrich. Your third word can be what you decide. It could be a word like humongous or ginormous or huge, heavy. It could be a word like interesting or whatever, however you want to introduce the topic of the African ostrich. So you got to have the words African ostrich, but then you can pick your own third word here. And then underneath this, we're going to indent a little bit. And now you're going to put 7, whoops, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are your facts. And then remember this one, clincher. This is how your new outline looks now for your reports, when you're writing reports. Different than when we did the story writing. We'll come back to those story writing style later, but this is really good for you to know too. Okay. Now, I want you to practice. I'm going to have you pick 2 facts that you think is either interesting or relevant or important that you picked, and just tell me what facts you picked. So I'll start with Paisley. When I was reading it and you were underlining or putting check marks, go ahead and tell me 2 interesting facts that you found in that story or that article, Paisley.
That they're the largest bird, and that 1 egg can be a dozen chicken eggs.
Yes. Okay, good. So it's the largest bird on Earth. So for yours, Paisley, you could put like largest bird Earth for your 3 keywords if you like that. And if you chose the same one, Bronx, you could do that for your number 1 too, largest bird Earth. If you have something different, that's fine too. And then she said the other fact that she liked was that 1 ostrich egg is the same as how many dozen? 2 dozen. So for that fact, you could put, you could do the number 1, which is free, right? Because the number for your outline, you could do number 1 and then put egg equals 2 dozen eggs. That's a way you could put it on your outline. Does that make sense, Paisley? Okay, good. So I just want you guys to take a minute and look at, I wanted Bronx to share, what 2 facts did you pick? What 2 of the 7?
For the first one or second one?
Like anywhere in the passage. So basically you should have like check marks throughout or underlines throughout. So just randomly tell me 2 facts that you found interesting from this passage.
I would say probably the up to 300 pounds, how heavy the ostrich was, and how high it was, 7 feet.
Yes, good. Those are really good facts. So when you're working on your outline, just make sure to include those. I'm going to work on my outline at the same time you guys are working on yours. So, and if you have any questions, let me know. But I want to take a few minutes right now and you look over. Remember, Bronx, it's like all paragraphs. You don't have to just stick to the 1 or the second paragraph. Just look at the whole thing and put down 3 keywords for each fact that you guys picked. And I'll do that for mine too. Okay. It's okay if you're not done yet, but go ahead and keep working for another minute. Bronx, what fact are you working on now?
4.
Okay, how about you, Paisley? What fact are you on?
5.
Okay. Okay, for the sake of time, I want you to finish up the one that you're on and you'll finish the rest of these later. Okay, so just finish whatever fact you're working on. And remember, you should only have 3 key words. You can use numbers and symbols. Like for this one here, I put 1 egg equals 24 chicken, and then I drew an egg there. So make sure you keep that rule in mind. Okay. So good job with that. And when you submit your homework, I want to see your outline too, but I'll put that in the instructions in the Google Classroom. A couple of things I want to talk to you about next. So the word report. So if you think of that root word port, you might think of like transport. Okay, that has the word port, that root word in there. Transport means to carry somewhere, like move something from one place to another, to transport. If you have something that's imported, right? Import means to carry in. Export is to carry out of the country or in the country for import. Export, carry out. And then you have report. It means to carry again, right? Because we know the prefix re means again. So if I have a report, you're taking facts from one source and you're telling it again, you're carrying it over again to another version of that, which is your interpretation of it. So you're carrying the ideas and facts from one place to another place. Okay, I just wanted to tell you the root of that word. You're also going to keep in mind about the clincher rule. Okay, the topic sentence and the clincher sentence must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. And that is important for each one of these paragraphs that you're working on. That's important to remember. So what we're doing here, we already did the hooded pitahui. Now we did the African ostrich. And now there's a third one in your binder. Go ahead and get out page 69, which is this one, the southern cassowary. This is the third one. So we're taking 3 articles and we're writing a report about that, about each one, right? It's going to go into one report. So when you're writing this report, your subject of the report is these unusual birds or dangerous birds, unusual birds, interesting birds. All of those would work as far as your main title. And then your topics are going to be those 3 paragraphs of each bird. Okay, so I'm just going to read this one really quick, but we're not going to do an outline. We don't have time to do an outline. This will be part of your homework. But I do want you, as I read this one, to do the same thing you did with your hooded pitahui and your African ostrich. Underline or check as I read the facts that you think are interesting, relevant, or important. You can decide yourself. This is on page 69. You guys got this one? Okay, cool. That's why I didn't do grammar today. I'm like, we got too much to do in this binder. We're catching up to where we need to be. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and read. You guys decide what you think is interesting. This one has a bunch of facts, probably 20 at least. You're only going to pick a few, 7. If you pick 8, that's okay, or 9, that's okay. Just pick as we go what you think is interesting. Okay. The southern cassowary is considered the most dangerous bird in the world. As if we didn't read about the most dangerous ones yet. This one is the most dangerous. Inhabiting the tropical forests of New Guinea and northeastern Australia, it is the 3rd largest bird after the emu and the ostrich. Although its body is black, it has a beautiful red neck and a bright blue head, topped by a horny ridge on its upper bill and crown. Primarily eating fruit, it also consumes other plants, fungi, insects, and even small fish, lizards, or rats. With enormously powerful legs, a cassowary can run over 30 miles per hour. It swims well and is able to cross wide rivers or swim in the sea. Its 3-toed feet have very sharp claws. The middle toe has a long, straight, murderous nail, which can sever an arm or eviscerate. I'm stuck on this one. I forgot that word. You guys know that one? Let me look it up. Eviscerate. I think it's eviscerate. EVISCERATE. This is what you do when you don't know. Eviscerate.
Eviscerate.
Eviscerate. Yeah, you don't hear the C in that one. Eviscerate. That's how you say the word. Okay. Going back to that. By the way, that means disembowel. Like we heard from the other story, disembowel, ripping the intestines out. Eviscerate. Who would have thought our class was going to be so violent today? Okay. Eviscerate an abdomen with ease. Though normally shy, a cassowary will attack when provoked. It will charge, jump, and kick its victim feet forward, puncturing or lacerating the skin, possibly breaking bones. Wow. Okay. It has been known to attack dogs, horses, cows, humans, and even cars. The cassowary is considered endangered in Australia, mostly due to habitat loss, but also as a result of motor vehicle strikes and dog attacks. Feral pigs destroy cassowary nests and eggs. Although protected by law, it is occasionally hunted or trapped by humans. All right. Have you noticed that a lot of these crazy animals and insects and stuff come from New Guinea? And I wanted to just show you where New Guinea is on the map because, oops, not that one. It's interesting. And in Australia too, that part of the world is pretty crazy with animals and insects and stuff. So here's the map of the world. New Guinea is like right here. Way over here, and then part of Australia. So this part of the world has some crazy animals and insects and birds. Yeah, so if you're into that sort of thing, maybe you can plan a trip there someday. But anyway, okay, so that is the southern cassowary. Hopefully you had a chance to underline or put checks in the margin of the facts that you found interesting. So going back to this, I want you to, okay, let me explain it this way. So basically you're putting together a report, right? You got 3 resources now. You've already done your outline for the first 2. This is the 3rd one. So for your homework this week, no grammar, but you're going to write your own outline with your 7 facts for this one. And I'll help you set it up really quick. Go ahead and get out a clean sheet of paper again. And I'll help you set this up. You're going to finish the outline for this one. Name, date. If you guys have any questions along the way, please ask. This one is the southern cassowary. Key. We'll just put KWO, keyword outline. And we're doing Roman numeral 3 here. Topic, sentence. I'm going kind of fast, just write this down. Obviously, you're going to need these words here, southern cassowary. And then you'll come up with one more keyword for that. Okay, as you come up with these outlines, now you're going to write the whole report. That's your homework. You already have your paragraph 1. I know Paisley has to work on that too, but Bronx has your paragraph 1 about the hooded pitihui. And then you're going to write paragraph 2 about the African ostrich. And then you're going to write paragraph 3 about the southern cassowary. So when you have your report complete, it'll be 3 paragraphs. And each paragraph has those 7 facts. It also has your topic, sentence, and clincher. So technically, each paragraph has 9 sentences, right? The 7 facts, but you got your topic and your clincher. Underneath this, I want you to skip like 3 lines, 1, 2, 3, and I want you to put subject equals unusual birds. Now, this would be like your main title for your report, okay? It can be something else like crazy birds or interesting birds, whatever word you want to use here, but this is the subject of your report. I'm going to put report up here and put a line like that. The subject is unusual birds, and then the topics equal each bird from source text. So each bird meaning the pitted, I keep saying pitted, the hooded pitahui, the African ostrich, and then this one, the southern cassowary. So I wanted you to see the difference here. Now, hey, quit it. Probably still upset about that bobcat out there. As you're writing your report, you're going to need transitions. I know it's already 10:45. I just need a couple more minutes. So you're going to need transitions. Go ahead and write this word here, transitions. So like your first sentence in the first paragraph. So I'm going to put paragraph 1 equals something like, there are 3 different dangerous birds in the world. I'm just going to write this down, but you can pick your own. You can copy this, or you can pick your own for your very first sentence. There are 3 dangerous birds in the world. And I'm going to put a colon, and now I'm going to list them. Oops, I should put the hooded pitahui, African ostrich, and I know I'm going fast, just take your time copying it, southern cassowary. There is an example of how you would start your report. So your title would be something like unusual birds, interesting birds, crazy, wild birds. And then your first sentence of your report is going to be something like this. There are 3 dangerous birds in the world. Blah, 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 blah. And then like Bronx already has his paragraph about the hooded pitahui. That's going to go next. Just go on from there. Does that make sense, Bronx? To just go on with your paragraph from there. Okay. And then the next paragraph, 2, that's the second paragraph. You would say something like the second vicious bird. And then I'm just going to put ... And then I'm going to move this up a little bit. Paragraph 3 could say something like, finally, comma, ... So what I'm showing you here is these transitions. So you're taking 3 separate sources and you're putting it into one report. You're giving it a new title, unusual birds, or however you want to title your report. And then you have to have your transition words. And then from there, you're going to do your topic sentence and your clincher at the end. And then at the very end, the very last sentence of your whole report is going to tie in your title. That rule still applies. Okay. And use your checklist. Use your checklist for sure. And it'll have all those things on there for you to use, and make sure you do include because clause, and don't use say, said, seesaw, think, thought, or eat, ate. Don't use those. Those are banned. And use different words. So your homework is finish your Roman numeral 2 and 3 keyword outline with the 7 facts, and then write all 3 paragraphs for your report. Does that make sense to you guys? And then use your checklist, and don't worry about grammar, just focus on this. And give me everything when you turn it in. Give me your outlines. And it's okay if you turn in a sloppy copy. If you're handwriting it, that's okay with me. You don't have to rewrite the whole thing. Just show me what you got. If you're typing it, just make sure it's nice and neat and double space and all that good stuff. So, all right. And one more thing. Okay, let me back up. My daughter had a horse accident. Okay. She rides horses. She chases cattle in Oklahoma, and she got in a horse accident. She's okay, but she really broke her foot bad. Like, she needs reconstructive surgery. So what happened was her horse got spooked going over a little creek. It misjudged the creek, and instead of jumping over it, which she could have totally done, she jumped into the creek and landed on those slippery rocks. She fell. My daughter's foot was stuck in the stirrup, and it could have been bad. I'm just so thankful she didn't break her hip or her back or something, but the horse fell, and then her foot got stuck in the stirrup. And as the horse is like twisting, like scared, trying to get up, her foot just completely racked and twisted and broke her ankle and her metatarsals. Like, she broke everything. Just gives me shivers thinking about it. So she's having surgery next week in Oklahoma, and she lives by herself. So she needs help because she's not going to be able to get around for a while. So all that to say, I'm going to be in Oklahoma next week. I won't have normal classes next week. So what I'm going to do instead is do a parent-teacher conference. There's 3 choices: Friday, this Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday next week, because I'm not leaving until Wednesday. But I'm not having regular class. We're doing conferences, so I can tell your parents like how you're doing and what kinds of things you need to work on and what kinds of things you're doing great at. So look on the Google Classroom and your email, your parents' email, let them know they need to sign you up for a conference with me. And then we're not doing classes next week, so you won't have homework next week. I'm going to give you extra time for this. And then we'll get back together the week after that. Hopefully everything will be fine and we can get back on track with our classes. Do you guys have any questions about that? Go ahead, Bronx.
So are we writing all the paragraphs on the same paper?
On the same paper. So it's like one report. Yep. Good question. So go back to where you started that first paragraph and just keep going. You can use multiple pages. You don't have to keep it all on one page.
Okay.
It's a good question. Go ahead.
Including the first paragraph, there's supposed to be 3 paragraphs altogether.
Correct. 3 paragraphs altogether.
1 paragraph for each bird.
Yes. 1 paragraph for each bird. Exactly. You got it. Any questions about the parent-teacher stuff? Or that's all on Google Classroom. So make sure you tell your parents about that so they can sign up. Okay. Awesome. All right, you guys, that's it. Unless you have any other questions, I will see you soon, whenever you sign up for the parent-teacher conference. Okay. Have a good day.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.